Mint, in association with Netmagic, presents Cloud Connect 2014. The discussion brings together India's top corporate and technology houses to give a fresh perspective to cloud and discuss its impact on businesses. Watch the debate exclusively on CNBC TV 18.
Availability, affordability, and quality of healthcare services are the key pillars of inclusive healthcare. ICICI Lombard and CNBC TV 18 present the India Healthcare Awards 2014, the 5th edition of India's most definitive awards in the healthcare space. Coming soon on CNBC TV 18.
Presented by ICICI Lombard Health Insurance. Research partner IMRB.
NSE Financial Quest is all set to take Nagpur by storm.
Expand NP will that is a plus 75.
As teams put their best foot forward, who will clear the Nagpur leg to make it to the national semi-finals?
These guys are doing well. Minus 100 that you take for getting that draw.
Catch all the action unfold at these times only on CNBC TV 18.
Presented by National Stock Exchange.
वाह, क्या तरक्की कर रहा है हमारा देश। सारी दुनिया आज हमारा नाम ले रही है। दुनिया का बड़े से बड़ा काम आज हमारा है। लेकिन इन बड़ी बड़ी बातों के बीच हम कुछ छोटी अहम बातें भूल जाते हैं। क्या है?
Uncle, what are you doing?
क्या आप भी इन लोगों की तरह शर्म का ताज पहनना पसंद करेंगे? आइए अपने देश को और उसके दामन को साफ रखें, खुद के लिए और अपने मेहमानों के लिए। जय हिंद।
This is TV 18 and you're watching CNBC TV 18.
Welcome friends to this session. We are going to have a discussion around disruptive technologies, but I won't be referring to the cloud per se. So we'll be talking about e-commerce and the e-commerce kind of growth. Why e-commerce? Obviously it's a $1 billion industry. If you just look at those kind of figures that we're talking about, $11 billion currently if you go by, I mean depending on whose figures you go by. And I mean, Sandeep can correct me because I can see him nodding out here. And I think it's about $16 billion by 2016, $15 billion or something like that by 2016. Sharad, reliability, flexibility, agility, cost effectiveness, and scalability. These are like, I think this is a common refrain among all our clients. So just from a technology point of view, what is the kind of advice that you typically give clients?
I think our learning from keeping these criteria in mind, scalability, flexibility, pay as you grow, right? So cost effectiveness was the entire automation and innovation and our entire cloud journey, where we actually took some of these diverse requirements and these stringent parameters and tried to come up with a cloud, our entire cloud offering actually addresses these. Not every time customers listen to you, but you generally, now with cloud, right, all that has changed. Because you can, they can take instances, they can tear down instances, they can, take instances on the fly. There's load, there's elasticity now available. So life, with cloud, life is a lot easier. And we can address these requirements a lot easier now.
Thanks, Sharad. I think you brought up a very interesting point and a very important point also, basically, that people have to look at business interests also, and that's what you're trying to drive at. So, Amod, you are hardcore techie the way most people look at you. But obviously, whenever you're investing in newer technologies, there's also the ROI factor, there's also the business consideration. So how do you typically end up looking at the requirements of your business, the newer technology, newer disruptive things that you believe should happen, and at the same time, whoever has to tell you that, okay, fine, please rein in for a minute, I don't have that kind of investment at this point in time?
I think this simple approach that we follow is that we are in general early adopters. The technology culture at Flipkart is that of early adoption of technologies. We play around with pretty much every kind of technology that we hear about. If it's around hardware technology, we call those people and we play around with those pieces of hardware. If it's software, in that case, our engineers, even, there is no approval process or authorization process. There's just a culture of playing around with technology. One of the things that we do is we like to characterize the technology, as in what exactly is this technology trying to solve for?
The requirement of combining business needs with technology, I think is what he's highlighting, and I think that's very critical. And that, it's if you look at the stack, each part of the stack provides you certain features. As a technology user, you have to choose which features will you end up using, and how will they help your business in the long run, right? So I think technology by itself, by saying, okay, today we're going to spend $1 billion on software or technology, is not going to win the war. The war is, how do I spend it most effectively?
Sharad, I think this is again another common refrain, as Sandeep said, do more with less. That's a constant refrain. A quick word on ROI and tech.
You do invest in a lot of different technologies. Not all of them pan out the way you want. Not to mention that we're in India. So you don't have availability of power everywhere. Right? Bombay is good, but outside Bombay, you go to Chennai, you go to Noida, you go to Bangalore, you have power outages every week. Right? So cooling efficiency, was one of the key technologies. We've adopted different kinds, right? Each data center that we built, there's a different kind of cooling that we've kept. We couldn't go absolutely cutting edge right now, although we are evaluating now for our future businesses, future data centers, because we had to also ensure that customers, we have customers like Flipkart and a lot of others that you saw on the stage. We can't let them down, right? So we can't do R&D at their expense, right? So that's another challenge that you face. I think we are one of the few data center companies that has a dedicated R&D team, both in data center design and in IT.
A perfectionist and a visionary, Venu Srinivasan led TVS to becoming one of the largest two-wheeler manufacturing companies in India, making him one of India's biggest business icons. To vote for Venu Srinivasan as one of India's top 15 business icons, give a missed call to 1-800-266-0928. Tweet Venu Srinivasan using hashtag IBI2015 or visit www.indianbusinessicons.in. CNBC TV 18's Indian Business Icons, Leaders, Trailblazers, Radicals.
बिन मिलेगा, बैग मिलेगा, बीन बैग मिलेगा, indiamart.com, काम यही बनता है।
अरे ये क्या कलर है?
अक्ताना।
नाइस। अपना हर ख्याल हमारे पास पाएं। Century Laminates, my design, my style.
This week, our Tata Crucible witnessed a criss and cross battle between 6 teams.
Founded by 2 people, we'll call them A and B.
He's gone for it.
It was Ben and Jerry's. Fantastic! That's a 50 that he wanted.
Who will conquer the South Zonal Finals and make it to Mumbai? Find out at this time.
कार की ऐड मेरी ही है। कहाँ लाना है? रूप महल, प्रेम गली, खोली नंबर 420 या 420 420।
फेक कॉलर्स करें परेशान? इंट्रोड्यूसिंग क्विकर नेक्स्ट, द स्मार्टर वे ऑफ बाइंग एंड सेलिंग। अब रखो अपना नंबर प्राइवेट, प्लस ढेर सारे फीचर्स। क्विकर नेक्स्ट, नो फिगर चैट क्विकर। क्विकर।
India is one of the few countries that can boast of people from different religions and different cultures, celebrating the festivals of each other with as much enthusiasm as their own.
Really delicious.
Join us as we unravel some festival food recipes that are sure to make your festival celebrations more mouth-watering than ever before.
Very tasty. Presented by Big Bazaar, making India beautiful.
The wait is over. The wait is over.
After several aborted attempts, the Tatas are all set to take off in the Indian skies with 2 JVs.
We did have a proposal to work in partnership with Singapore Airlines, and almost 20 years later, finally that project, the dream, in some ways come true.
After launching the low-cost AirAsia India, Vistara, India's latest full-service airline, is ready to take flight.
We remain very optimistic about the potential this market brings to a new startup like us. I think, अच्छे दिन आने वाले हैं.
Can the Singapore airline Tata joint dream fly high through turbulent times?
We are not people who are going to be faced by difficulties, and we will be a very responsible airline.
Find out on the making of a new airline, Vistara.
We hope that over the next two panel discussions that we have, we try to figure out whether, one, when people want to adopt a platform, a technology platform, and want to go on the cloud, why exactly are they doing it, and what is the best way to do? And in the second session, hopefully we'll be able to talk about the different kind of cloud models and why exactly users and vendors, why do vendors actually advise that this is the cloud model that is best suited to you, and why do users look at a particular cloud? Certain stats that I could put forward at this point in time. Then in October report, a report by Cisco said that global data center traffic will triple by 2018 and cloud solutions will account for 76% of total traffic by then from 54% last year. And as of today, cloud is being widely adopted for applications important to business success. Thompson, what prompted you to adopt your current cloud platform? What were the kind of considerations that you had in mind?
The story started about 3 years ago when we were first trying to set up a hosted desktop environment, and that's the first time we actually looked at whether we can host this entire thing with a partner. That was the first activity where we evaluated, we looked at what are the propositions. Somehow, we found that the commercials the ROI that we were looking for, we were not getting from that solution, but we had already taken our first step towards looking at what's available in terms of solutions out there, how service levels can be managed, and pieces like that. And that's when we looked at a solution from the cloud perspective, and we said, do we get something there which scales when we have a disaster, rather than just buying all of that infrastructure upfront and keeping it ready? Then we said, what is possible, what can we scale and what can we not scale? What is the piece that we are worried about, and what is the piece that we should, if we are worried, then we should keep within our setup. And that's what we did. So we realized that the data is the one that's most crucial. And we said that environment, the storage, all of that is ours. And we said that the servers that we need, whether it's the database server, where the database is just, database instances there, but the data is not on that server, the application servers, the web servers, we just said we go on cloud, take a bare minimum that we need to keep the site running so that replication happens, and the contracting is done in such a way that if there is a disaster, we just scale to the production capability that we have. This is the whole story about how we went about.
Thanks, Thompson. Mrinal, your company was born in the cloud. So I think some of the other considerations would have been slightly different, I guess. So could you just take us through?
We were born in the cloud age, so it was natural for us to explore cloud. The reason for us was multifold. A, it's an e-commerce platform, so you don't know what the predicted patterns of load is going to be. How much compute power would you need? So cloud allows you the flexibility to expand and shrink depending on what your needs are. An in-house solution, if I wanted an on-premise solution, there were multiple challenges for me. I was a startup company, a very small organization. I needed to have hardware specialists. I needed to have network specialists. I needed to have security specialists. I needed to have power backups. I needed to have redundancy in my network connection, my ISPs. So for us, the reason to be on the cloud was for me to build all this capability in-house and have an on-premise solution. A, it didn't look practical. It would have taken me months and maybe years to build that specialization in-house. And second is that is not our core business. Our core business is not managing servers or managing, interacting with Reliance or Airtel or Tatas to provide me a certain bandwidth and monitor if they are providing me with those bandwidths or not. or negotiate with the power companies or UPS or generators and things like that. That's not my core competency. My core competency is we understand the e-commerce business, we want to build a platform, and that's how we want to go about. Our choice of Netmagic, we looked at various different cloud service providers. I think the other thing was because we were an early stage company where we could not tell anything. When Netmagic approached us and said, give me some patterns about how much load you're expecting, I said, I don't know. We were just about starting. We were getting like, 5 orders a day or something like that, and 4 of them were our own employees placing those orders. So really did not know anything. So we needed some place where it was highly flexible. We needed the know-how of a hosting provider who can bring their best talent and work with me.
Bala, could you just enlighten us on what exactly are clients, asking you? Why do they want? Already in the cloud, they're moving to the second stage. What are they exactly doing?
So what we have seen is that a lot of customers have on-prem stuff, and what they want to know is, can I use my legacy infrastructure and legacy applications and still marry, with the public side of things? Can I do that, with burst capacity available on the public cloud? Now that could come with a commitment. They would prefer it without commitments. Most probably in India, it would be probably without commitments, because that's the nature of the business as we have seen, the billion-dollar days, and then the rest of the days the infrastructure could be, sitting idle. More importantly, data integrity. So whatever I'm getting in the enterprise, so example, if I were to take Thomson's case, the security which is available within the enterprise, can I get the same level of security? Can I get the same level of encryption? Can I get the same level of auditing and compliance as I move to the public cloud scenario? So I think these are some of the questions which generally come up, and the way I see it getting addressed by companies of our type is that a lot of it is to do with a continuum which talks about performance capacity. And that's where it also comes out as a TCO piece. So what we have seen is that there are applications which require extremely hungry performances, and Sharat talked about cooling being the most expensive piece in a data center. And that's where, investments in flash technology have come up so rapidly and so fast that that's really beating the, equation out of cooling. More importantly, flash is setting new paradigms on performance. And OLTP performance, screaming fast performance. So that requires a very different level. There it's a TCO is about dollars per IOPS. At the other end, when you're looking at web scale efficiencies, you're talking of dollars per GB, which is commodity off the shelf storage. Now you're looking at a paradigm which is between performance and capacity. Now in between this, you have the VDIs of the world, you have the video streamings of the world. So you have various types, you have the data warehouses of the world. Now data warehouses of the world sometimes might require expensive infrastructure. If you go to certain companies, you might be working on x86 commodity infrastructure if you go to certain companies. So therein lies the entire mix and match of how you play, and a lot depends on customer to customer there.
Prashant, I'd like to come to you now because I think a similar set of consideration most clients would be having. But beyond that, from a technology, if you go more deeper into the technologies, are you seeing the same kind of questions being asked? Are clients that mature that they really understand what they're getting into?
Customers and partners do come back to us. Clearly, I want to take a step below the cloud in terms of their platform, right? Over the years, they've had the opportunity to go from an application which was tied to a single box to now virtualization, and now with the next cloud model, they had the agility promise which the cloud gave. But when we took a hard look, they said, my 70% of the spend still goes on in maintaining my infrastructure, which has got even more complex. Now I have VI admins, I have virtual ports, policies, I have no clue as to how this is going to be managed, right? So can you help us, the questions asked, can you help us, and scalability being a big problem, redefine this whole thing. So we took a step back. Cisco, we believe that this is not a fundamentally scalable issue or in the data center. How do we relook at it? So what we did is with our innovation, we rebuilt the whole compute platform in terms of the whole UCS architecture, where we simplified the things. We broke the silos of network, storage, security, all the aspects to really come up with a simplified, unified cloud platform, which today we see UCS, right?
There are 2 million users developers registered on our OpenShift platform. Anybody can go and do a Google search on this, go and register himself, use the platform to develop on open technologies, and whatever applications you develop, right, can be moved across to any of the cloud platforms. Let me take the example of two panelists here who are from new age companies, Shopclue and HDFC Life. Can anybody name any company in US which is now listed on stock exchanges, recent new age company which has built its infrastructure on proprietary software? Facebook, Twitter, name any one of them. They are on open. Why? Because innovation is equal to open source. That's what I would say.
Cloud is nothing but just a service delivery mechanism, period. It's just a new way of delivering what you've been delivering in the past. So let's not say cloud is here and it's going to end world problems. No, it's not. And let me be the bearer of the bad news. You know, what really matters is not even apps, not infrastructure, it's actually workloads. What really matters is the maturity that as a CIO, as a decision maker, do you have an understanding of what workloads are you running? Few of the things that come up very, very often is it's not ROI, it's not TCO, it's basically making whatever cloud I have very operational.
There was a recent announcement on our partnership with Cisco on OpenStack, right? So we believe in the same mantra of open architectures and elasticity on the cloud. There are a couple of cases which I can also cite in terms of the elasticity portion that Prashant mentioned, of capability of someone to have a physical infrastructure or a cloud infrastructure and be able to go and use the compute workloads required as and when the demands are at peak, right? And that agility is something which we have worked on with Amazon as one of the cloud service providers.
Widely regarded as a visionary who started India's telecom revolution, Sunil Bharti Mittal launched Airtel in 1995. Today it is one of the largest telecom service providers in the world, making him one of India's biggest business icons. Give a missed call to 1-800-266-0926. Tweet Sunil Bharti Mittal using hashtag IBI2015 or visit www.indianbusinessicons.in. CNBC TV 18's Indian Business Icons, Leaders, Trailblazers, Radicals.
टी मिलेगा, शू मिलेगा, टिश्यू भी मिलेगा। indiamart.com, काम यही बनता है।
This is my wife.
Discover the power of the Nissan Terrano. Discover Nissan.
This week, NSE FinWiz meets young professionals at Fortis Memorial Research Institute in Gurgaon with the country's finest experts advising them on sound financial planning.
Mutual fund is not equity. Equity is one type of mutual fund, but mutual fund, if I say, is a vehicle to invest in these asset classes.
Consistent return is the most important thing, not earning too much money. Consistently earning mediocre returns can take you places.
At these times, only on CNBC TV 18.
Presented by National Stock Exchange.
सिर्फ 4 महीनों में प्रधानमंत्री जन धन योजना के तहत 10 करोड़ से भी ज्यादा खाते खोले गए।
बच्चों के भविष्य की चिंता मेरी तरह कमला को भी थी। मैंने उसका बैंक में खाता खुलवाया, बचत का सही रास्ता बताया।
बैंक में खाता खोलने हेतु अधिक से अधिक लोगों को प्रेरित, प्रोत्साहित व शिक्षित करें। अब अपने आधार कार्ड के जरिए बैंक में खाता खुलवाएं। यदि पहले से ये खाता है तो शीघ्र ही अपना आधार नंबर खाते में दर्ज कराएं। घर घर में तो बैंक खाता बनेगा अपना भाग्य विधाता।
This week on Accelerate India Technology for Growth, we look at how 2015 will be a year of technology for 4 mega trends in the BFSI sector.
Technology is going to be very critical as the government scales Jan Dhan Yojana beyond what the first wave has gotten them, I would say.
A CRM for an insurance company is the most critical piece of solution that one would look in ensuring that they provide the best customer service.
We will be investing with partners who will be helping our LIC advisors as they buy these technologies to be able to get better skills so that they can compete more effectively in the market.
Catch Accelerate India Technology for Growth at these times.
presented by Microsoft.
Now, in this particular discussion that we're going to have, it's more about how do people actually identify whether it's public, whether they should be going private, whether they have a public cloud, or whether it's a hybrid kind of model.
The choice for us was pretty easy in terms of why we should actually go with the cloud. But then the next question was, what do I do with the existing infrastructure? I do have a bunch of servers lying out there. Where do I have my critical data which is sitting there? Now, and that's where we started engaging with Netmagic and, kind of started deliberating in terms of what this ideal model should be, And that's where we kind of evolved on the whole hybrid model, where we ensure that the existing infrastructure is used as is, so we kind of, and on top of it, we started building our, the whole app layer, so that, the data which is close to us, which needs to be secured, which needs to be kind of the customer data, we ensure that we retained in the backend layer, and we started, moving the app layer onto the cloud. So the whole, hybrid ensured that the scale is maintained so that the events like an election and stuff like that is kind of handled. And when you scale down when the event is over.
What the hybrid cloud does is it allows you to meet the compliance requirements for the workloads that need that, and then still meet your elasticity requirements by expanding when the campaigns or some big need arises. So that's where we have gravitated to. I think we're probably Netmagic's largest hybrid cloud customer right now, and even as we speak right now, we're doubling our capacity over the next couple of weeks.
The challenge comes in choosing whether they want to go to private, public, or hybrid. I think that is more of a mechanics that we have to deal with the customer. Then that is not their intent. Their intent is how could I fastly deliver my product to my end customer that could interact with the information that is available virtually free. Can I make that connect happen? The cloud is just a mechanics part of it.
So the pattern that we are seeing in the market today is one category of customers who are startups who build applications for the mobile cloud era, which lend themselves to deployment on public and hybrid environments. And then there is the other category of customers who are looking at legacy applications and trying to re-platform these applications. Regardless of the category of customer, what we have observed is the ability of a platform to run these applications, whether they are legacy applications or mobile cloud applications. And as an organization, when we talk about our partnership with Netmagic and talk about essentially delivering that hybrid cloud, this platform that we call the software-defined data center platform allows you to run your legacy applications and applications meant for the mobile cloud era and manage them through one single console.
There were some questions in the other panels about FTP or this protocol, that protocol. I really think those are technical problems that can be solved in any of these cloud solutions. And it just requires network architecture design, application design, audits, and all of that process to be followed. But I don't think that any of these solutions are precluded purely because of the security reasons. All of these things have security complications, but there are, yes, compliance reasons for which you might want to be selecting one cloud versus the other, and regulatory reasons.
I think if I look at security, and if I look at it on the cloud as a backdrop, I would say security actually is three things. One is the security really, second is demonstration of security, and third is perception of security. What I mean demonstration of security is basically what compliance aspects we looked at. If there is a regulator who comes to my doorstep, I can say whatever, but until I can demonstrate, probably by showing some papers, showing some standards, showing some analysis around it, he is not going to listen to us. So how do you demonstrate security? And in that sense, again, if I look at in cloud, certain developments are happening. Perception of security is something where people are afraid of doing something new. And what are we doing? As an industry, are we educating? So if I look at security per se, in my view, I think because cloud service providers are in the business of providing services to corporates, they are aware of the corporates' needs. And it would be unfair to say that they are not aware of security requirements and they are not doing their things.